Okay, so we covered some back exercises. We did the first one with it's just a straight leg raise with it to your version of 90. So again, it doesn't need to be 90, your version of 90, but if you can get to 90, make sure it doesn't go beyond 90. So we're going to do the second leg exercise of a series of 3. And this one will be with your leg out to the side. Now, this one does require a bit of attention because it's fairly easy to just flop this one around without some muscular integrity. So do pay attention to this next video. So we're going to start how we always start with a Tadasana, or the floor pose. We're going to practice standing on the floor, standing on the ground. There we go. So you're going to put your feet together, toes to touch, and on the floor. Yep. And press the feet into the wall, and then you're going to grab the edges of the mat. You're going to roll those shoulders under. This puts the shoulder blades in the right place of the back, and now you're going to straighten out your knees. And what this does is it drags the shoulder blades down the spine. So even though you may place the shoulder blades, they need to still be down. And also the lumbar spine. So many times people will have a little bit too much of this bum sticking out. So we need to take the upper bum away from the lumbar spine. Upper bum away from the lumbar spine. It becomes important when we're standing, but the floor, when we move, when we straighten out the knees, the floor does it for us. It moves the upper bum away from the back. So for this, you're obviously going to need, and you can let go of the mat, you need obviously a mat. Oh, and if your neck has a little bit of a pitch to it, we just must maintain a completely neutral spine. So make sure that you have a blanket handy nearby, and lift the head up and put the blanket all the way to the shoulders to support the neck so that it's now neutral. And what we're going to need is you're going to need a strap again, and you're going to need another blanket or some sort of like a book, a little book or something, and you'll see why. So make sure that you have a book or a blanket nearby. And here we go with this pose. So we're going to start by tightening the knees, draw the kneecap up, roll the upper inner thigh in on both legs, front thigh to the back thigh, and then compact the hips, and the upper bum away from the back is done by the floor. So maintain that leg action as you raise your your left leg up. And we're going to start like the previous one, and put the strap on the ball of the foot and hold the strap just for right now in both hands. You're going to again reestablish that action in the legs if you've lost it, and you're going to tighten this kneecap up, draw it up, spin the upper inner thigh in. Same thing with this leg, tighten the knee, draw the kneecap up, spin it in. And now what we're going to do is you're going to hold the strap in your left hand. Okay? And what you're going to do is you'll have this on the side handy for you, but I'm just going to do it for her right here. And you're going to put this apparatus, this prop, this book, this blanket that you may have just right up against the hip, and it becomes a little important in just a moment as I explain. So keeping this leg very firm, what you're going to do is you're going to start to open this pelvis up. But this action must be controlled, because if you just let it go, all this, you can, sure, you can get to the floor and there's all this loosey-goosey floppy, but nothing is happening here. Nothing is stretching, there's nothing going on that's actually going to serve you in the long term. So come back up. So it needs to be a controlled slow motion. So as this inner thigh opens, you must draw this femur back into the socket, and there's almost like a little lift. So this prop here reminds you where you need to lift that femur up, and that action on this side of the leg allows the inside to open. So much like when we had this action, the strength, the action in the quad allows the hamstring to relax. the action in the outer leg allows the inner leg to relax. Okay, but all of this action gets maintained. So this quad is working, these outer hips are working. But you got to make sure that this side stays on the ground. As soon as you feel this side of the pelvis pop up, you've gone too far. So you got to come back and work from where you are. So this side must stay glued to the ground. Okay, and again, make sure that the action is in the legs. White knuckle this strap and have the blood rush away from your hand. Make sure that the leg is doing the work. And it doesn't matter, you don't need to get to the floor. What you need is to maintain the integrity. So as this contracts more and more over time, this leg will eventually open. Okay, so those are the key positions for this. This side stays glued, this draws in and lifts up a bit. So how long should we be holding these poses, both in the first, and you can come back, yes, and this move and the second move? Aim in the beginning for 30 seconds on each side and do each leg twice. That would be ideal. And then work your way up to holding each pose for a minute. And beyond that, you don't really need to do. So it doesn't need to be 2 minutes a leg or 5 minutes a leg. Just up to about a minute, and try to do each leg twice. And what that will do is each leg teaches the other what it just learned. Okay? So you get more bang for your buck if you do it that way. All right,